very good morning to you. Always a team to be experimental. It's never been done before. All this week, for the first time in history, we may regret this, for the first time in the history of the Ideal Home Show, we are broadcasting live from our very own purpose-built studio. It's the first time it's ever been done on the telly.
Now, 95 years ago, in 1910, the Ideal Home proudly announced that no home could be really ideal unless it contains one man, one woman, one baby, or else a, or else a very good substitute, like a good bottle of wine, I think. But when it first started, things like hairdryers and irons were luxuries. But now, do you know how much we spend here every day?
How much?
Thank you for asking. We spend over £10.5 million a day right here. That's incredible, isn't it?
It's easy to see how as well, because the lovely thing about doing the programme is that we were here a bit before it opened this morning. I've had a really good snoop around.
And what have you found?
Oh, the barbecue stuff's fantastic.
Yes.
Sheds. You'll love the sheds.
I love sheds.
There's 2 seats. Look at these seats up here.
We'll have those by Wednesday.
We'll be sitting on them by tomorrow.
I hope so. It is a fantastic show. And if you come down and have a look, although of course we will be giving you a tour every day, some of the things they've built here are incredible if you look around. Pretty impressive, isn't it? Fancy a look round. Come on. Come on, if I come in here through the French windows of the chateau, let me introduce you to the drawing room. This is our main interview area where all the guests will arrive. It's very stunningly, stylishly, very modernly furnished. And we've got all sorts of other places, haven't we?
I like this. If you were to visit the exhibition over certainly the week that we're here, you could be tramping around in our upstairs. Because this house does have an upstairs. It's got bedrooms, it's got a kitchen, beautiful kitchen. All of those, of course, you'll see as the week unfolds.
Now, we also have someone who's snooping around the show for us very cleverly. Next door in the Grand Salon, which we're actually calling the Green Room because it's going to entertain all our guests, is the only person we could think who would fit it is the gorgeous Sarah Green.
Hooray! Hooray! Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. See, and I thought it was the Green Room in my honour. That's told me. But the good thing is, do you remember on Friday I said I couldn't find the kettle? Because you know when you've unpacked a house and there's one thing you can't find. I found the kettle.
Hooray!
So teas and coffees are plenty.
Thank
you. Right. No problem at all. I'm going to withdraw into the Grand Salon now and tell everybody what else is happening this morning on This Morning. Aliens from outer space are very important to both Brian Appleyard and Hilary Porter for very different reasons. But if I tell you that Hilary claims to have been abducted by aliens not once, but several times, you'll realise there's a lot more to talk about and see. I'll also be talking to the divine Kevin MacLeod from Channel 4's Grand Designs about all the best in young British designs, the concept products, the kind of things we're going to be seeing in our homes in the next 2 or 3 years. Have you ever wondered why, when you look at some colours, they make you feel happy and well, and others make you feel, well, frankly, physically ill? Well, apparently that's all to do with our auras, the electromagnetic field that we have around us. And Myra Hurley here knows how to photograph auras, and she also knows how you should decorate your home to complement your aura. More from Myra later on. Now find out what the visitors to the Ideal Home exhibition think of that room and think of those rooms. We'll give them a chance to vote with their feet. So, watch this space. Phil.
You see, once again, we are in competition with one another. And do you know what happens when we're in competition? You always win.
Find out. Can I just swing you over here to have a look at Samir Gadi in a guise that you've never seen her before, being massaged by the gorgeous Ariane. She's getting ready to have her aura read, and I think they're going to take a photograph of your aura as well, which will be very exciting, and we're discovering how you can then decorate your home to match your aura. And a rather controversial story this morning. Should we be calling this man, Robert Brown, His Royal Highness? According to him, no, but it could have happened because he claims he is the illegitimate son of Princess Margaret. I'm sure that our very own James Whittaker will have an awful lot to say on that subject, won't you?
HRH is in the right of the Queen to make it so, and I don't think she's choosing to on this occasion.
Never try and get your HRHs right with this man, OK? Thanks a lot, Phil and Fern. Do you reckon to that, then?
Yeah, we'll see you a little bit later on. Of course, you noticed the massage there. That was in the paper last week. That's how we get guests on the programme, apparently.
That's right.
Yeah, give them massage. They get goodie bags and all that sort of stuff. They get Ferraris when they come on here and all that stuff. Oh, yes. Didn't you know that?
No.
Didn't you get your Ferrari?
No.
Oh,
Don't
dear.
get paid.
I'm sorry.
Just turn up and I'm happy to do it. Now, here's the story. Do you believe in aliens? Since 1947 and the infamous Roswell incident in Nevada, you know, the place that's now known as Area 51, where it was reported not only was there an alien sighting, but apparently a crash landing of some kind of spaceship. And they had rescued the alien body from it. They didn't know whether it was alive or dead. You know, the whole conspiracy theory rumbled on.
And they're still quite happy not to tell you anything about what goes on.
No, I
there.
saw a programme about somebody trying to get into Area 51 and they were immediately buzzed and people from nowhere came with guns and they were frog marched out. So we don't know what's happening there. So of course it perpetuates that theory that aliens landed and what are they doing now? So do you believe in aliens?
Well, Hilary Porter says that not only do aliens exist, they pay regular visits to Earth. And on many occasions, she's been abducted by them. Brian Appleyard points out that it's remarkable that despite all the reported cases of alien abduction, that none of them have ever left any evidence of their visit. Now, they're both here, two opposing views. Welcome to both of you. Hilary, let's start with you. You're vice chairwoman of the British Earth and Aerial Mystery Society. You were first abducted when you were 4.
Yes,
in a field.
in a field not far from in Farnborough, Hampshire, and it ties up very nicely with a Channel 5 documentary by 2 Air Force men that were stationed there at the time, and they were seeing a craft going between 800 and 1,000 miles an hour, self-lit like that one, across Farnborough at the time in 1950-51.
So did you go? Where did you go? Did it take you away?
I'm not sure because I certainly was abducted in the field and taken into the craft, and then it was all dark inside and I could see little figures moving around and lights and various things. Then I was shoved onto a bed, literally, bang. And then
You're 4 years old?
Yeah, between 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And they stripped me and they started poking me with very sharp things all over. Oh, it's horrible. And then it goes because they take away your mind, you know, the things
So you
that
have
happened.
disjointed memories
Yes, very
after
much
you've been
so.
abducted.
Yes, I do.
And your mother says that through your childhood this was happening to you all the time. You
Yes.
kept disappearing
Yes,
and
I
reappearing
did.
where you weren't left.
Yes, exactly. She said, I don't know how you got out of the garden because I bound the gate up and locked it, and every area that you could get out of, I sealed up. And she said, I found you in RAF Borough, which is very close to the airfield, wandering around. And
So why do you think they kept coming back for you and didn't take your
don't
mother
know.
or your next door neighbours?
Well, I really don't know why it started like that. I just know it has. We don't look for it, it comes to us.
So what people would ask you is what proof you have. If it's
Yes.
happened, and it has happened
Yes.
throughout your life,
Yes,
and
it
you've
has.
had experiences of putting glasses down and them exploding on the
Yes.
table and lights dimming and the feeling that you've been
Yes.
watched. You went outside and saw a spacecraft and had a very sort of vivid feeling that it was very hot and you were burnt down all one
Yes,
side.
that is it.
So that's what it looked like, but
Yes.
where's the picture of the burns, you see? This is what we want. I mean, the
Yes,
problem is you don't
I
have
know.
any proof, do you?
No, I don't, but I have proof from other researchers and ufologists. When I was in Wales, for instance, in 1970,
Yeah.
I was abducted there. And when I really got my head round it all because it had been disjointed for many years and I had a particularly bad abduction in 94.
What
And,
happened in 94?
I woke up with a massive bruise on my arm with no idea how I got it. I had distended veins in my arm and I felt very, very ill indeed. A similar feeling to the Welsh abduction. Going back to the Welsh abduction, when I was able, I got through to Margaret Fry from Quest, and she's a lady who's very much into all this research, and she said, my dear, you were in a hot spot just outside Cardiff, and she said it's well known, and she said there were many abductions taking place there. In fact, only about 3 years ago I had a young man phone me and said, I'm absolutely petrified, I've been abducted overnight, and my girlfriend
Do you
as
never
well.
distrust yourself and think, am
No.
I making this up?
No,
Do you drink?
No,
Are you on medication?
no.
Has
not
anyone
100%.
said to you you're psychologically imbalanced?
No, not at all. I'm an ex-MOD draftsman,
Yeah.
and I'm well balanced.
So
and
when was the
everything.
last one, do you think? When did they last come?
About 3 years, 2-3 years ago, 2001.
Yeah.
And I got out of bed, and my partner Ken, chairman of Beams, said to me, "You've got blood stains on the back of your nightie." So I said, "Have I?" So he said, "Yes, look, you know." And anyway, he took the nightie off, and I saw the blood stain, but he also checked out the back of my neck, and both sides of my spine, I had these strange red marks, which had no way you could account for
You
them.
say that, I mean, you got sort of the blood-stained nightie, the bruises that you were talking about, the terrible
Yes.
bruises, that there were stains on a jumper that you didn't know what they were. And now,
Yes. Yeah.
I hesitate to say that I'm a skeptic, because I think it's a
Yes.
very large universe and we can't possibly know what's going on at the back end of it. But
Yes.
it all does seem terribly unlikely, but believable from your point of view. I want to see the jumper. I want the jumper analysed for DNA. You know, it's
Well,
that
I sent
sort of
it to
thing.
you.
And
I've
what did
got
they
it.
say? What did it come
I
back?
know I haven't been. I have asked to have it done,
Yeah.
and I've had blank.
Can we have it DNA tested?
Yes, you may.
Can we bring the
Yes,
jumper in and we'll
absolutely.
have it DNA tested?
Yes, you may.
Great. I mean,
Yes.
that's the sort of
Yes,
stuff that immediately your
exactly.
mind
Visible,
goes to,
tangible.
isn't it?
Yes.
Well, Brian Appleyard is sitting next to you. Welcome, Brian. Brian, you've had a real fascination in all of this sort of sci-fi stuff for a long time, and your new book called Aliens, Why They Are Here, is highly technical, very interesting, describes everything from the film fiction stories to what possibly could happen. 1947 is year zero for UFO sightings.
Yeah, I mean, people have seen things in the sky and met strange creatures throughout history. But in 1947, the key incident was a sighting by a man called Kenneth Arnold, where he said he saw 6 alien craft in Northwest America. The reason this sighting was so good was he was a very good witness, he was very reliable, he was a professional pilot. And within weeks, there'd been about 850 subsequent sightings around the United States. The US Air Force was scrambling planes to chase these things. And then 2 weeks after that, the American Air Force actually put out an announcement, we've recovered a saucer. And that one was in Roswell. And it was in New Mexico, and it was taken supposedly to Area 51. In fact, what appears to have happened is that first the senior people in the American Air Force were furious that somebody had said this and immediately suppressed it to know it was a weather balloon, which is even weirder because it meant the Air Force couldn't tell the difference between a weather balloon and a flying saucer. But in fact, almost certainly what it was a high-altitude balloon train designed to detect Soviet nuclear tests. But they
So
wouldn't
do you
admit that.
believe? Do
No.
you? Not at all.
In the fact that they're physically here, no.
Do you think that the things that we see, I mean, you know, this is an unlikely flying object if ever there was
Well,
one.
I don't know. They're always cigar-shaped and things.
They must be quite tiny to fit in there, mustn't they? Must be very small. It's like a sort of magic wand type of thing. But what tends to happen is that eventually down the line, when the stealth bomber was being developed and there were all these sightings of this black, sleek craft, strange shape, and it serves the military to misinform us and to throw us off track because they're developing something that...
Well, they're certainly quite happy for people to think that. I mean, at the moment, there's a top-secret craft called the Aurora, which the American government denies exists, but it flies in and out of Scotland into Machrihanish Air Base. And now you'll have to kill all your viewers because I've told them this, but it's certainly true. It does about 4,000 miles an hour. It's perfectly triangular shaped from beneath. Now, in flying saucer sightings, first of all, Kenneth Arnold saw these things which he didn't say were saucers, but then there was flying saucers. Everybody saw saucers. Then they started seeing triangular planes, triangular craft. Well, the triangular craft could have been stealth bomber and fighters, or they could be the Aurora.
But as I said, it is a big universe, and it seems also perfectly believable and conceivable that
There is
we're
life
not
out there.
all there is, and this isn't as developed as it gets.
No, scientifically, the consensus among scientists over the past 20 or 30 years, for various reasons, has moved to the view that there would be life out there. Whether it was intelligent would be another matter, but there would be life out there. But the evidence for them having visited Earth, been encountered, just flying past or encountering people, is entirely anecdotal. And there are other scientific explanations as to why this might happen. I don't doubt for a second that Hilary's experiences are real and true and very vivid and very disturbing.
Yes.
And there are a lot of people who've had them. I just don't think they're caused by aliens.
You're sort of a sleep hypnosis or something, a sleep
Well,
paralysis.
May I just say that I went to give a talk and I met quite a number of other people that came to listen to this talk, and it was like we all knew each other. And we thought, how can this be? Because I haven't been to their town, they have not been to me. And it was as though we really did know each other well. We have similar scars on our bodies.
Can you show us one now? Do you have any?
Yes, I have one on the, oh, excuse me. On the side, it's on the side of my leg here. It's a large round scar there.
Yeah.
And I also have scoop marks and things that are coming out all over the place where they've scooped pieces of flesh off me as well.
It's fascinating to see, isn't it? I like alien stories. We
Yes,
just
so
don't
do
know.
I.
In the olden days, Brian said, you know, we had fairies and angels and we
Yes.
have good and bad demons, and now maybe we've invented aliens because now we know how to blow up the
But
planet, we
that's-
need to know how
yes.
to get off the planet.
But that suggests there's something in the human mind that produces this
That
sort of
needs
phenomenon.
this sort of thing, yeah.
And that's
So we don't like the feeling that we might be on our own. We like to create something that tells us that we're not alone.
Can one envisage interdimensional? Because I feel with all the things that I've been through that these things come interdimensionally, because I have a picture here which shows the actual thing taking place.
Yeah, I mean, well, certainly
There
they
you
say, you
can
know, that
see your
everyone
own
comes up
room,
with the same sort
but
of
you
view.
can
That's
see
the picture
the
that you've got
house
on the
next
front
door
of
and
your
the
book.
adjoining wall and them coming through. And it's really...
Let's. What we need to
Crazy.
stop now. After we've said aliens, why they are here, is Brian's book, which is there, and also if you can supply us with that jumper,
Yes,
we'll
yes,
take
I
that
have it.
away and have that DNA
Yes.
tested, see what it
Yes.
says, and then we'll talk to you again.
Remember
Yes,
Lionel
fine.
Richie was here and he knew Buzz Aldrin,
Yes.
and he said that when Buzz was up there in his spacecraft,
He saw lights.
he called down and he said, "We are not alone."
That's
And
right.
ground control said, "Yes, you are." And he said, "No, we're not."
No.
So there you go.
Exactly.
Anyway, that was very interesting. That'll got people thinking at home. Time now for a competition, though, that is, of course, out of this world. Your chance to win a brand new kitchen and £5,000